Hello everybody, it's SeKo Starcraft here, bringing you a replay from, I believe this is Masters League Ladder, I can't recall for sure, but it's IdrA versus Miszu. Miszu is French, from Team Reason, seems reasonable. Terran versus Zerg, the most beloved of StarCraft matchups, and we've got one of the most beloved, depending if you thought he was beloved, you loved him or hate him, IdrA, playing here in the bottom as a Zerg player. I'm going to speed up. It's a slightly longer replay, so we'll go a little bit faster here. If something gets wonky, we're definitely going to pick up on it and slow down. But it looks like everything's going to be pretty standard as it is right now. No super early gas here out of the Terran player. So maybe this isn't even going to be a reprogramming. We'll see. I like getting my gas really early when I do this. Is it going to be CC first? I blow my mind. It looks like it is going to be a CC first. Why not? If you're playing against IdrA, why not go for something crazy? Does go for a scout for anything proxy, and I think that's, and even a low ground at that. Now this could be a little bit of a bugger for him, because there's a drone already here to see. And he'll immediately start wailing away on that SCV. Almost lets it die, and you do have to bring down 2 workers once you're finished with that. And then he'll run away and let his hit points regen back up. 2 hits on the Terran, 1 hit on the Zerg, so he's got to be careful. Looks like he's handling this pretty good. IdrA's going to take himself a fast 3 bases. That's what you should do if you see something this greedy. Barracks isn't even finished yet. He will come in and scout the timing, and does scout that there's a gas there. So he might actually still be able to go into a Reaper play after all, just a command center first version of it, which I don't see too often. A lot of the time, this kind of opening forces you to go very gasless. Just Marines. Probably get himself out some tanks, feel a little bit better about himself, a little bit more secure. Queen's going to be fairly delayed. There's not much you can really do about that, but there will be a gas down here, so he'll work towards getting that speed nice and quick. Bunker at the front. So Miszu here is just going to be setting himself up for a late game, getting a really good economy setup, and IdrA with his experience knows what he's up against. He could have maybe went for some sort of bust. That's sometimes fun to do. You got an Overlord here that's scouting the positioning. You can sometimes just make a giant pile of Zerglings and go and crush face. For instance, he saw there was no wall off here. So if he was to make, say, 20 Zerglings, he would probably be able to take this out and potentially even get into the base, forcing a lot of damage. Yeah, it's a bit of a risk. It just depends on where do you think you're stronger. And IdrA likely thinks he's quite strong in the late game and is happy to go into that with just a huge economy. That's something that IdrA's kind of known for as well, getting a huge economy and then sometimes just getting raffle stomped because he spent too much time on economy. I think Zerg's one of the races that can happen to most obviously. If you just spend way too much time on economy, any race you can fall behind and just lose because you've been too greedy. But a Terran, you can wall up and turtle pretty good. Even a Protoss can do that. Zerg player, it's a little bit tougher. You really need to have a lot of space and you need to be able to take control of the map. Getting into them Hellions. Wallach on the way. So if we go to the units tab, we'll see that it's actually even in economy right now. It's just going to be in the next couple of minutes that really shows if the Zerg player can take a really huge lead here. He's about to get supply blocked. Actually, he has his Overlords in production here, right on cue. With his Queens and his Injects. Not worrying about any creep spread. You're ready for an inject there, sir. What we should be able to do is just have a big pile of drones come out for the next couple of seconds, I would think, and that would allow him to get up a pretty good economy that he needs to go into the mid game. Overlord does, I don't know what did he see with that Overlord there. IdrA did see the command center being done, so that should make him feel pretty safe about getting out a few more drones. This map's a little funky though. The third base, it's much more spread out. There is a creep tumor along the way. So if you're a little greedy and you're not careful, I actually took a lot of damage on that one Hellion. You can just end up kind of getting turned over. Enough Zerglings are out, I think, for IdrA to hold off any of this light Hellion play. Not enough Hellions there just yet to really be safe. 6 seems like a good number, but that's still quite easy to surround if you're not careful. They are controlling the watchtowers for right now. It's not likely that IdrA's going to want to fight off of creep for the time being, even though speed is finished. The third command center is finished, and then we're moving into bio play. Widow mines in production, lots of Marines. Don't think we have... Yep, there's the upgrades. I was about to say, I don't know if there's any upgrades started yet. This Overlord should come in and see. I'm sure that IdrA was pretty confident he was going up against a bio comp, but he does see the double upgrades. So this is as about greedy as you can be as a Terran player in a safe way, going with really fast double upgrades, triple command center. And now he does have all of his gases taken as well. 12 more drones about to pop for IdrA, so that's going to put him ahead by a good chunk. The Terran players are not skipping a beat though, he's going to keep making them. A few Zerglings get a bit toasted. He does want to defend his creep that's moving forward there. And you just got to keep your eye on the prize with these Hellions. And that's why having the watchtowers is so important. Stop you from getting a surround and getting those all taken down. Static defense, and we have a lair on the way as well. Would expect to see the other gases all swallowed up. Only one missing right now from the Zerg players. He's probably going to move into Muta tech. His upgrades are a little bit behind the Terran players. We'll see if that becomes a factor or not. Third base is going to be going down nice and easy, filling up with a few units there. So it's been a fairly passive game for the most part. Cleans up a couple creep tumors for free. That's always good. More creep moving down the middle. Lots of active creep tumors. Baneling Nest just about to finish up. Generally the timings you'll see from these people is try to get the Baneling Nest to finish around the same time as the lair so you can start that speed immediately. I do like the static defenses back in the base. Got those Zerglings moving and doing something with their free time. Just a static defense here or there makes a really big difference sometimes between losing a whole bunch of workers needlessly and being able to delay long enough to be able to get in there. Should be seeing some Overseers in production, I would think, pretty soon now that the lair is finished. He should be fairly certain he's going up against a Widowmine comp. Not getting the cancels. There we go. I was about to say, we're not seeing too many cancels on those creep tumors. This could be salty. Oh, man. 11 kills on that. And there's the Overseers getting morphed, along with a whole bunch of Banelings. It's about that point when the Terran's going to start pushing out. When the medevacs are finished. Lots of barracks in full swing. 2-2 started up. Now he's ready to start putting on the pressure. We see 1-1 is now finished for the Zerg player. Hasn't started the +2 attack yet. May not have had the gas when that was happening. Generally you're going to have those things paired up nicely. Hopefully he doesn't forget about it for too long. Interestingly enough, this one spine color does make a difference to how far you can poke. That's why I like seeing a few people just mix in the spine crawlers with their bases. It just makes, it punishes just for trying to poke in there and do a little bits of damage. This base just winding up here, getting some more gases, so IdrA's in a good spot. The Terran's got a pretty good supply lead, but IdrA's got his tech right where he wants it, and he's got enough gas and minerals to make a big pile of mutas now that his spire is finished. Let's see if that's the case. His mutas seem quite delayed to me. I don't know if anybody else is getting that same feeling. He actually hasn't started those mutas yet. I'm kind of surprised. He's down a fair bit in supply right now. That's a lot of creep. The Terran player is in a pretty good offensive position right here. There's the Amutus in the production. Burrow speed getting researched right now for all those Widow Mines. Should get him into a really good spot. Wouldn't mind him coming down here with a group and trying to clean out some of this creep. But this is where the Terran wants to stake his claim and do the damage. Not sending his entire bunch of Zerglings yet. You can see him really running through, trying to drag all those shots, and it worked really good. He dragged all those Widow Mines out of there. Let's see if he's got enough stuff left here now. I don't think he does. He did clean up all the Widow Mines, but he lost everything else, essentially. Another big pile of Zerglings in production. There aren't going to be any Banelings here, so this is a really smart timing by Miszu to come down and try to get a little bit of damage in. Does have to be careful while committing on the creep. Do have a Thor in position. No upgrades for it yet, but +1 will be finished here momentarily. All the Widow Mines did get cleaned up though, other than just that one. And this is a really good spot now for IdrA, because you need that really big splash damage to hold off this big Zergling Baneling amounts. And this would be a great time for IdrA to attack. Let's see if he's going to do it. Yes, he does Magic Box the Thor down. Ooh, actually doesn't get the Thor. trying to do some fancy micro, but unfortunately used up all of his boost on his metavacs. It's a big risk you take trying to be a little too fancy with the micro. He's going to lose almost all the metavacs here. He's going to try to magic box this Thor down. Very expensive unit, taking that out. Nice moves there. Trying to pull more Widowmine shots. Well, I'm sure that IdrA is fine to fall back and regroup, taking a really big supply lead. Terran's still just got the 3 bases. He hasn't been able to successfully do enough damage to probably feel comfortable in taking a 4th just yet. And IdrA's economy is doing just fine. Lots and lots of Mutalisks out here now, getting a really big number. And I think that's important. I like the really heavy Mutalisk style. It can punish so badly. And when the Terran only has small groups of units, sometimes you can just engage them. That one queen is pooping at the wrong time. Still a good chunk of units back here. +2 air attack on the way. 3-3, significantly ahead of IdrA's 2-2 right now. I don't even think he's got high finished yet. No, he doesn't. That's always a limiting thing for me, is like you want to get those upgrades out as a Zerg player. You need to get the Infestation Pit. You need to tech slowly. Whereas the Terran player, once that army is down, can get to any level of the upgrades. Finally got a lot of Widow Mines in here. Terran's got himself back up to a really good supply count. 5th base is on the way. Zerg player is scouting just to make sure that he's not getting blindsided by a huge economy he doesn't know of. This is another tough death alley up here. I'm gonna see he's splitting these Widow Mines up very nicely. Both players are maxed. It's just where is the engagement going to take place? Trying to go in with just a small amount of units. Pretty good Widow Mine hits there. There's still more Widow Mines. So IdrA is pushed back. All the Widow Mine shots are expired. Now let's see if he can rally here. Might actually lose this hatchery. Actually, that's a lot of DPS here. 3-3 is about to finish up. And that's going to give the Terran a huge advantage in the next fight. Runs all the mutas in first here. Very risky and aggressive maneuver. I'm not going to say that it's desperate, but he's going to lose almost all of his mutas in this fight. And he might clean it up. But IdrA lost his really, really expensive stuff there. I guess this really is IdrA. I mean, you can always count on that. And have this be possible. Yeah, well, I don't actually think that Miszu's playing out of his mind right now. But these engagements for IdrA just haven't been successful enough. And with these Widow Mines about to recharge, I don't think he's going to be able to take this fight. May have to get lucky with some good Widow Mines. He does have himself another base on the go, though. The Terran is aware of it. And the Zerg is also aware that the Terran does not have another base. So if IdrA can deflect, you know, another good time here, maybe he's going to get himself into a good position. But 13 Marines at a time, lots of medevacs, in come the units. Pretty good splits. Those splits were not as good. 3-3 on these Marines is just punishing these units, though. So IdrA's been able to tie the supply up again. Still has some creep to the north. He's got units in all the corners to check for bases. Terran player, mined out in the main. Almost mined out his natural, so he's kind of all in here. So if IdrA can hold off, I think he can actually take this game. Let's see if he can do that, though. Not a really big Terran army here, and he can't really reinforce it that well. Lots and lots of drones. I wonder if he's going to pull some of these to defend. He's trying to do a little bit of damage here with the mutas. I don't mind it. He's keeping a lot of them alive, and it's punishing the Terran a lot. The Terran can't really afford to trade needlessly at this point here. Just too desperate on the economy. Looks like he's going to either long distance mine or try to do something over on this side here. Maybe move his main command center? No? Surprisingly he didn't move it. He's just mining. There he goes. We see he's not mining much from there. These banelings are so important right now. Just whether or not they can get the right kind of hits. Some friendly fire damage there. These mutas look like they're going to come around and maybe try to punish where that command center is going to go. Yeah. Doesn't want to lose this hatchery. Really good baneling hits there. Loses almost all the marines. This isn't a lot of marines. He will get this hatchery. But at the same time, the Zerg player should be able to do this. Now it's just kind of a low econ, not quite base trade situation here, but this is really, really bad for the Terran player. He really can't afford that at all. He's got no bank, and both of these need to essentially be here. He can't pull them to go to a new base. So as long as IdrA doesn't lose this mutaflock, I think he's going to be alright. There's another base up already, so all those workers that he had, where'd they go? Probably down here. It's a really, really big pile. So now the Terran player, kind of in desperation mode here, somewhat all in. I'm kind of surprised he hasn't brought workers with this even. It's a pretty good amount of units here for the Zerg player. A couple of changelings giving him great sight as to what's happening. Small amounts of units, very, very important to do. This is a tough trick that I don't think a lot of amateur people really... Oh, this is some pretty good baneling hits here. IdrA can fall back. I think he's okay still if he doesn't lose these mutas. Don't lose the mutas. No. Oh, IdrA. Why did he... Oh, man. I think he could have won there. If he saved the mutas, he had this pretty good sized bank of money. Sack the base, save the workers, go home, regroup. He must have known that the Terran player had no more economy left. So I think that was a game that's definitely winnable by IdrA. And I think that's just him getting sad and salty. And yeah, giving up a game that he probably should have won. And I don't like seeing Zerg players that get to that point. They're like, I have to attack now. He had almost 20 mutas. And it just threw them all away for essentially nothing. He could have base traded better and had a better game. Anyways, SeKo Starcraft, thanks everybody for paying attention, and we'll talk with you later.